or post.
Okay.
Go live.
So.
First things first, to make sure your account is good. Standing and verifying. Okay, good. Okay, good.
Okay. I think we're good. We are live. Good job, us. Okay. Looks like I see audio. We should be on the video. We can start that. Let's see.
Are we alive?
Yeah, I think we're live. So I will put the title slide away. Boom, there we are.
We gotta get nice and close today, Mark.
I know, right? We got like this.
Wow. Hi, Mark.
Isn't creepy at all.
Personal space.
Personal space. We just gotta
Personal space.
get nice and close. So.
Good. Hi, Instagram. Hi, Facebook.
Facebook, Instagram.
And I don't think YouTube.
YouTube might not work. That's okay. We'll just.
YouTube's not going to go today.
That's
okay.
all right? So, but I think, Matt, you said you had a student ask a question, right?
I had a student ask a question.
Yeah.
Well, Rachel, who is a constant learner on this Facebook Live that we have at United Language Center. I asked her what she wanted to learn, and she said speaking. So, of course, I listened, and today we are going to talk about speaking.
I'll move my head a little bit.
However, we'll also be talking about listening and reading and writing. This is hard in the mirror of the...
In the mirror of yourself?
Anyway.
You can always just
writing,
just turn a little bit and look.
Listening, reading.
Yeah.
Basically, receptive skills on this side versus productive skills
on the other side, right?
That side.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of going to be going all over the place today.
Yeah, it's a bit of a whirlwind tour of conversations in general, right? Or
yes.
Yeah, the four elements of English. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Hi, Kentaro, and.
Oh yeah, we got some people on the Instagram.
GN, I'm going to wave to you guys. That's great.
Yeah, the Instagram, the Facebook.
So on Instagram, pretty tough for me to comment, but if you comment, that's great. We'll answer those questions later.
Okay.
And on Facebook.
Yeah, we'll still see them. We'll be able to see your comments if you have any questions or if you just want to say hello, right? It's always great to say hello, so just type hi Matt or hi Mark.
Or hi Matt and Mark.
Oh yeah, if you want to.
Or Mark and Matt.
Yeah.
Mark and Mindy.
Yeah. Make a more complicated comment. Mark and Mindy.
Anyway, if you comment on the Facebook, I will answer right now. I will answer live. Even though we're live, I will answer live.
Wow. Such amazing technology we have nowadays.
It's unbelievable. But we have 64 computers set up right now and a phone. So, we'll figure that out eventually.
Yep.
So let's get into it. Mark, what advice would you give to a student who wanted to improve their speaking?
Their speaking? Well, if they're... usually with speaking, I would recommend listening, right? If you want to be able to speak well, you need to listen to people who speak well, right?
Yeah.
You want to be able to copy them, right? Language is all about copying. When you were a baby, you listened to your parents, right? And that's how you developed your language skills.
Yeah.
Right? So especially when you're a speaker, listening is a great way for you to build those skills because you'll hear how people say words, right? We have a lot of pronunciation issues with learning languages, right? Especially English. Words don't look like they sound. You have to actually hear many words before you can say them correctly, right? So you have to do that listening practice to be able to speak accurately, right? To say the word correctly and to speak well, to let your language flow smoothly whenever you're trying to explain something, right?
Right.
And in classes, we focus on specific words also that help us link together ideas, right? So, I mean, you can do that as well, right? Learning the different structures of how we speak and listening a lot to different speakers, right?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think that one thing that our students, or even maybe teachers or native speakers, if we're giving advice to students and they say, how do I improve my speaking? and we actually did a 30-minute Facebook Live about how to improve your speaking without a speaking partner.
Yep.
But we didn't really talk much about listening. We did talk about like watching TV and things like that.
Yeah, I guess, but not too much. Yeah.
So I think one issue with how do I improve my speaking, it's a really difficult question, and it's hard for us to answer. But how do I improve my speaking? Sometimes it starts with listening. And hi, Kentaro. If you listen, your speaking will improve. So you can see this beautiful red arrow here. Yep. Actually, sometimes if we want to improve our productive skills, speaking and writing, and right now we're talking about speaking, we need to improve our listening. And if you improve your listening, your speaking will also improve. Or the more you listen, the better your speaking will be. And that's the same. If I want to become a better writer, I have to read more. So I'm assuming the whiteboard is a mirror. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me close that.
Oh, that one is a mirror, isn't it?
As I'm looking at Kantaro's office.
Yeah.
Good point, Kentaro.
Yeah, we can check about the... Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's right. You can see us as a mirror image, right?
That might... I don't know. Didn't improve. Anyway.
Didn't improve.
Can you read it? If you can
or
read
is he
it,
saying...
The whiteboard is a mirror. Oh, unless it's mirrored image.
I think it might be a mirrored image.
Let me...
Yeah, I don't know how to...
Nope.
We might... Technical difficulties with our...
Instagram.
I think it is a mirrored image, right?
It
looks like it.
Yeah, I had that problem before.
Yeah, Facebook keeps it the same, but...
Kentaro, switch to Facebook.
Yeah. Or Kentaro, just hold up a mirror and...
Or just listen.
Yeah, just listen. I'm sorry, Kentaro. It looks like... We'll look on Google to try to fix that in the future.
I don't know if that happened in the first one or not.
Yeah, it does. It looks like it does flip.
Well, yeah. I'll figure that out. Sorry, Kentaro.
Yeah. Actually, if they're having trouble seeing that one, we can do the boom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, this will awkwardly be in the middle of our faces.
It won't because
it won't move? Oh, there it is.
Because that's...
only this one.
That's Facebook.
It's only Facebook. So this is only for our Facebook viewers. It's, right, but this is the same idea.
Same idea.
Did not solve the problem for Kentaro, but...
It did not.
Yeah, but this is the same thing Matt just put on the board, but I think it's not helping too much.
Well, no, I think this is better than mine. Because it's the same thing, right? Input.
Yeah, same idea.
If you can look there, if we input the listening into our head, that will actually help us output with...
output better speaking, right?
Yeah.
Output better speaking.
But again, a lot of our students tend to focus on the output side. How do I improve my writing? How do I improve my speaking? Well, sometimes we have to go to the input side to make sure... to make sure we improve the output.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess a good example of this is when you're a baby. A lot of people think children learn languages really quickly. Part of the reason is from birth they have to hear the language for a year or two before they actually start producing the language, right? So they spend a lot of time listening. When you're a child, you're hearing the language all the time. You're hearing thousands and thousands of words every single day. And over time, obviously, if you hear the word thousands of times, you're going to understand the word very well, right? That's why for your native language, for your Chinese or your Korean, your Japanese, those words sound very natural to you, right? Because you've heard them so many times.
Right.
The same thing happens with English. If you hear the same word many, many times, it becomes very natural for you to use it and to see it, right? To hear it, to see it, to use it, right? So that's the same thing with any language. And like Matt and I have been saying with our little arrow, right, that Matt drew, the more you're exposed to hearing words, to seeing words and writing, the more you'll be able to actually use the language well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I think that in terms of that, I think that
covers it.
That pretty much covers it.
That's the basic idea.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah. No, I think the only other thing I had here, which I'll try to get it so it doesn't block us, is this idea that especially children, right? A lot of schools really emphasize that children should read as much as they can whenever they're very young. Because if you have your children reading from a young age, they see many more words than children who are not reading. Right? Especially for your children, right? A lot of you who come to our classes at at United Language Center. I used to work at another center that was a lab of learning, but now I'm at a center of language.
You break my heart.
I know. I betrayed Matt there.
No. Mark used to work at the Learning Lab, which is a great school.
I guess because it said young age. So, at my past job, we really focused on having children read. Because by reading, they see a lot of words and they're able to use those words more easily when they write, right? So the more children read, the better they will be at English. I think that's a given.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even think about when you were a child. Did your parents want you to read? Did your parents want you to read when you were young?
Of course.
Yeah, right? Or even for your children, Matt, right? Are you trying to...
Yeah, we try to make her read, or what I do and what I used to do and still do is I read a bedtime story to her or something like that. So for our students who are mostly housewives, not kids.
Yeah.
One great way to improve not only your reading but also your speaking and their listening and their speaking is to read your children's books.
Yes.
Even reading children's books to yourself is fine. Mm-hmm. A lot of students have this misconception that reading a children's book is too easy or too simple, but that's not the case at all.
Not at all.
Even Mr. Men and Mr. Women, even some of those books, Mr. Bossy.
Yeah. I read those in Japanese, actually. Right. They're very useful because they show you the grammar pattern, right? Common grammar patterns and some vocabulary that a child would understand.
Right.
Right? You're not above that unless you're in the advanced class, right? Or even our advanced class.
With that being said, I've had students who are in my advanced class, or I've had private students who speak English incredibly well, and they'll be reading stories to their kids.
Oh yes.
They don't know what some of the words mean because it's native.
Yeah, it's
English.
Still native level English.
And when I read to my daughter who's 4, she, even though she doesn't know what I'm reading or she doesn't understand the words that I'm reading, it's going in there.
Yes.
It's being input into her brain.
Yeah.
And in the future, she's going to be able to learn that word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether she knows it or not at the moment.
What is it? There's something. There's a specific word for this. Imprints. Or
something.
But just like English, right? If you might hear a word 12 times before you understand it well, right? Or even more than that. But the more times you hear the word, the more you're like, oh, that's a word, right? I'm sure with Chinese you do the same thing, where you hear a word over and over again, and you're like, I should know that word. I should know that word. Right?
I have a story about that. When I was studying Japanese.
Oh, okay.
With your friend.
Down. Oh, with my friend, yeah.
With your
Hello,
friend.
My friend. I'm sure she'll...
Hi, friend Zara.
Friend Zara. What's your story with Zara?
Well, it's not with Zara. I was in Japanese class, and I think this is like going back 8 years ago, and I was doing an assignment in the class, and the word okane came up, and I was like, oh, cool, okane. And I asked Zara, who was my partner and my mentor.
Yeah.
What does okane mean? And she said, money. And I was like, oh, cool, I like money.
Yeah.
Do you like money?
I do. I enjoy... The money is very useful.
Everybody likes money.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, okane, nice, awesome. And then maybe 5 minutes later, about 3 questions down the worksheet, okane. Hey, Zara, what's okane? She goes, that's money. And I literally asked her 4 times.
4 times.
In a 2-hour class.
That's
what the same word meant.
That's why Zara loves you, right?
Or
that mutual...
Or hated me.
Or hated you.
I might have been that frustrating
friend.
Partner in the class. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we're a little bit off topic.
That's okay, but I think that's a good way to say that
reading is important.
Right? Reading's important, and when you're learning a language, vocabulary, you have to see words more than once, more than twice. That's why in class we repeat grammar points all the time. We repeat our grammar, we repeat words, we repeat over and over again because that's how we learn.
Yeah.
Right? And I guess that goes back to our idea of speaking and listening, right? The more you listen, the more you hear the word at the same time, the more you speak, right? Everything's repetition for when you're learning a language. So
it's the only way. And then you stop studying for 1 month or 2 months.
Yeah.
Kentaro, I think you're going back to Japan for
Oh
a month.
no, Kentaro.
So every Thursday at least, check in on this, and then that'll be, and then hopefully we'll figure out the switch around.
Yeah, or Jung-un, that's one of my students. She's going back to Korea for a month. So if you're Jung-un, if you do watch this ever, right, you gotta try to every week at least hear a little English, even when you're in your home country.
A little bit.
Yeah, and that. I'm gonna put this up a second. Whoop, that's right over me.
There we go. Bye, Mark.
I just wanted to put this up a second because I think this is what you wanted to discuss a little bit next, right?
Yeah. So I was kind of talking about the cone of learning, and I'm going to try and get our Instagram followers to see that here.
Yeah. I guess I'll just cover me. You don't need me for right now.
Just cover you for now.
Yeah.
The cone of learning. This is something that I learned about on. I learned about this from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I don't know if you know that is Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, it's a famous investment book, right?
Famous investment book, yeah.
Yeah.
And basically...
I'll do a little adjustment.
Thank you. This has a relationship to... this looks weird. This has a relationship... I mean, you can see it now. But this has a relationship to what we've been talking about, productive skills and receptive skills. And if you can see from that cone of learning...
Right.
It's kind of cut into two sections, right? So the bottom section here, this is more passive learning, and the top section here is more active learning. So you can see on the top here, after 2 weeks we tend to remember, so if we start from the bottom, 10% of what we read. So actually if we just read, that's not really going to help with our memory.
Not enough.
20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, and then 50% of what we hear and see. So this is when I often talk about with our students, read and listen at the same time.
Yes.
If you're watching a TED Talk, which I actually put one in the comments on Facebook, which is really, really interesting if you have young children.
Okay.
But we learn 50%, or we remember 2 weeks later, 50% of what we hear and see.
Okay.
So, for example, watching a movie with subtitles, going to a museum, looking at an exhibit, or watching a demonstration, or listening to somebody tell you about that exhibit, watching a demonstration, seeing it done on location. Anything that you're looking at and listening to at the same time, you're going to remember better than if you just read it, or just listen to it, or just look at a picture.
Yep.
And that's all passive, because if I watch a movie, I can sit there with a beer and a popcorn, and I don't have to do anything.
Don't have to think,
watch and listen.
Just absorb, right?
But if we move up to the active phase, that's when we're really, really going to start learning. We're going to remember 70% of what we say. So giving a presentation, doing a presentation, having a conversation, teaching somebody something. If you teach your children, or like I said, if you read a children's book to your children and you're reading out loud and reading it at the same time, in that case, you're going to be up here at the 90% level, right? Where you'll remember 90% of what you say and do. So I know the teachers, and hi my students, but I often do this. I make you say things and do things at the same time. Hey, have a conversation, talk to your partner about this, go up to the whiteboard and write this down, and how was your weekend? Tell me about your weekend. All of these things, these are in the what we say and do category. And once you get up there, that's when you're really going to start remembering. So doing a presentation, simulating role plays, that's like conversations in class.
Yeah, it's a big thing we do here.
Yeah, huge, and that's the big focus on a lot of our classes. And then doing the real thing. Once you come to class, you do all those things in class. It's important to go outside and use those things. Ordering food in a restaurant, something like that. Really, really important.
Yeah. Yeah, so this weekend, right? if you get a chance, try to use those skills that you've received in class. Go and try to put them to use so you can really ingrain that memory in your head.
Yeah, yeah.
Really learn it. Right?
Totally.
Yeah. So I guess so. There's cone of learning. So now,
cone of learning.
I guess
March
anything else you'd like to mention today?
No. The only thing I would say is I did put a comment in the Facebook. In the Facebook Live comment section.
Oh yes,
it's a TED Talk about the linguistic.
Oh yeah, you have that on there. Yeah,
it's right there.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
The linguistic genius of babies, and actually, this is bad news in a way because we learn most of our language from our mother.
Yes.
Or father, or people who are around us, our mother tongue.
Yeah.
Before we are 1 year old. So actually, when we're babies, we're starting to listen already. Even we can't talk to anybody.
Yep.
We're listening and we're taking statistics, and this is why something as simple as L and R are indistinguishable for Japanese learners, Korean learners.
Yeah.
This goes all the way back to when you're a baby.
When you're a baby.
So being able to listen to an L and an R. Like listening and reading. To you, though, the L and R might sound exactly the same, whereas Mark and I, because we learned from our mother, father, parents, friends, we can distinguish between an L and an R.
Yeah. So, and I mean, it's the same for Matt and I if we try to learn Chinese, right? Where a Chinese baby will learn the tone system, and that will be something natural for them. All the way from when they're from birth, they're hearing that the changes in pitch that change meaning. But in English, we don't have changes in pitch that change meaning in the same way. So, right, for Matt and I, we'd have to really, really try hard to be able to distinguish between those different sounds that are something that's natural for someone speaking Chinese.
Right.
So same for Vietnamese, same for Thai, same for even things like we have Russian students, Italian students, right? Each language has its own special sound, right?
Yeah.
That foreigners have trouble picking up because it's not that first year. It's possible though. It is possible to pick it up.
Yeah. So if you do have a baby and that baby is under 1 year old, 1 year old.
Under 1 year old, yeah.
Pass him or her to an English speaker and have them speak English to her. By the way, the other bad news is even if if the baby's listening to a CD or the TV, it doesn't help either. It's got to be live.
Oh, it's got to be live.
So even listening to us live, there's got to be that physical connection.
Yeah, or as I see with my students sometimes, they want to see the mouth, right? So the mouth movements also play a big part in you understanding what someone's saying, right? That's why phone calls are so difficult, right? I'm sure if you, those of you who have tried to call someone on the phone and speak in English, it's very scary, right? Because you don't have the same input. So we just talked about input, right? Seeing, hearing, listening. Seeing the mouth movements is another form of input that we rely on when we're talking to other people, right? So, it's another thing. Let your baby see you when you're talking, right? Look them in the eye, right?
Super important.
Yeah.
So, other than that, going back to the original question, how do I improve my speaking? Well, don't only speak. You have to read, you have to listen, and do as much of it as possible.
Yep.
The last thing, and I think the last thing, so I've said the last thing 8 times.
Yeah.
But the last thing is, and I think Mark wrote that down, is sometimes being a good speaker means you're a good listener, and that has nothing to do with language. That just has to do with social awareness.
Yeah.
The conversationalist, the good conversationalist, asks a lot of questions, and they listen. And so that might be easier for some of you if you're going to meet your children's teachers or, a parent-teacher meeting or something like that. Instead of trying to talk the whole time, just try to listen and ask questions, and people will think you're a good conversationalist.
Yes, yeah. Fewer words and more, yeah.
So it's kind of a little trick, little little trick of the trade.
More of that connection, right?
Yeah. And then you wrote down one other thing there.
Oh, the don't wait too long? That one?
What does that mean?
For don't wait too long, I feel like it might be cultural, but sometimes students grow up in a culture where someone will speak and then they will be very obvious in telling you when to speak, right? So they'll say something and then they'll almost pause to let you go and speak. But English speakers, they tend to not give you a very clear signal sometimes of when you're allowed to speak. Sometimes you just have to speak, right? It's very like a very fast conversation or a normal conversation with your friend, right? You just need to jump into the conversation. You don't have to wait until you get like a nod from them that it's your turn.
Yeah, no acknowledgement.
Right? I don't know how to explain it well, but you know.
We don't take turns. We just
butt in. We
shut
overlap.
Up for a second, Mark.
Right? Yeah, we overlap when we're talking as well. So if you ever in Starbucks and you're listening to two people speaking English, they're overlapping often, right? Acknowledging each other, adding ideas. It's very like you're putting building blocks on top of each other.
We don't take turns.
Exactly.
We don't take turns.
So just keep that in mind, especially when you're trying to speak with a friend, right? Just if you want to say something, just say it. Don't worry about being polite and finding the right place to say your idea. You just want to just start to speak, and people will people will understand you want to speak because you start to speak, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess this is question and answer time. We have several people on Facebook watching and one or two on Instagram.
Yep.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Anything. You can ask us anything. Mark, how did you get your hair that color? How'd you get that hair?
I got to thank my parents.
Your genetics.
I'm genetically dark red. I don't know how it looks on the screen, but
okay.
Yeah.
So anybody watching?
Yeah.
Ask a question.
And also, if you're right, obviously you want to try in English, but if you're curious and you want to ask a question, say in Japanese or in basic Chinese, we can probably help you out. But anything's okay. Anything's okay in terms of questions.
Any questions?
Yeah.
No questions. I see no questions. So we're going to leave soon.
It's okay.
Which is fine.
Yeah, again, like we always say at the end of every video we make, if you have questions after you watch this and it's 2 days later, a year later, still comment. We'll try to get back to you and help you out. And if you have an idea for next video, right? If you have an idea for something else you want to learn in the future, right? Say you go to class and you think, oh, this is really hard. I don't understand this very well. You can ask us and we'll try to give you an even more thorough, an even better explanation. So you can use it with your classes here at United Language Center, or if you're at another school, right? If you're at the British Council, or if you're at another school in the area, at the Learning Lab, right? If you, for some reason, you're a 12-year-old at Learning Lab and you're watching me talk about this, right? Feel free to ask. Yeah, feel free to type your best English and ask us some questions.
Yeah. So. Any questions? Yeah.
Instagram too. You can.
Instagram too.
If you made it all.
I think there's a Pingu liker on there.
Pingu. Okay.
Shona Krish. Hi. How are you?
Okay. Shona Krish. Yeah.
Yeah. So also remember, just like, comment, share.
Yes.
I think that was the correct order.
Yeah.
Like, comment, share. If you like it. If you don't like it, then don't do that.
Yeah. Then,
probably not a good idea.
Then maybe this isn't for you. But
if you don't like it, just click delete or whatever. But yeah, we are here to help, and this is, we're doing this not only for us but for you guys, and I mean, just because we like doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. So anything you need, we're gonna try to alternate, like grammar.
Oh yeah.
Theory.
Yeah, we'll do
grammar theory.
We'll do a mix of different topics, right? Today was more practical use and more general, like how do we learn. Right. But in the future we'll focus on specific English things that can be difficult, right? Specific English learning challenges, right?
Yeah.
So
Kentaro moved to Facebook, so hi Kentaro.
Oh, okay.
See,
Kentaro, and Macy just...
Macy, what do you mean by writing? Do you want advice on writing?
Yeah.
If you listened to the beginning of the video, as you can see from this, again, this arrow, which is backwards on Instagram. Sorry, whoever's watching on Instagram.
Yeah.
If we want to become a better writer, we need to become a
better reader.
A better reader.
Reader.
The more you read, the better your writing will be. The more you actually... My students always ask me, what's like the secret? And there's no secret, but reading. The more you read in English, you're going to naturally learn those grammar structures and your...
I think Macy just put, I'd like to improve my writing skills, right? Yeah, so like Matt said, you'll see the grammar, you'll learn new vocabulary, and try to be, like what I'd say for students who have a specific writing goal, say you want to write a letter, right? You have to write a letter for business, or if you're, say you work at a language center, and you have to write emails a lot to clients.
Yep.
Look at example emails that businesses send to their clients, right? Look at, there's business books that have lots of email templates. If you go online and type in how to write a business email, right? Google and find good examples of what you want to write, and then steal, right? Or copy the best parts of what you find, right?
Good advice.
Right? It's just like anything else. You steal it, right? Or like, we'd say borrow it creatively, right? Right? If you want to write a good letter, like read very well-written letters. If you want to write a good essay, right? If you're in school and you want to write a good essay, read good essays and try to understand the pattern they use when they're writing their essays.
So great.
Right?
So great. Because
very important.
I have students, they want to do IELTS. They want to, I want to get 6.5. I want to get 7 on IELTS.
Yeah.
And in that case, if you want to get a 7 on IELTS writing, read IELTS writing examples.
Yes.
Look at examples of questions from the IELTS test.
Yeah. Be specific. Like if you read Harry Potter, that's great, but it's not going to help you as much with IELTS, right?
That'll help your imagination.
That'll help your imagination, but with IELTS specifically, focus on reading IELTS. Business emails, focus on reading good business emails. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't,
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward. I know some of these things are a little obvious, but right, if you actually do it many times, it will sink in.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you know, English. It's English or language in general. It's so cliche, but it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You can't do it tomorrow. You can't watch a 2-hour video or a 1-hour video or a 30-minute video and know English. That would be amazing.
There's no magic pill. I wish there was.
Or like from the Matrix, where I just plug that thing in the back of my neck and I learned judo. It doesn't work that way, and you just got to keep going and keep continuing and little by little. Don't burn yourself out. Don't stress yourself out. Little by little. 1 minute here, 1 minute here, 1 minute here.
Yep, but we're there for you, and we'll see you. I guess
see you next Thursday.
See you next Thursday.
Yeah. So thanks everybody. Macy, thanks for the question. Instagram, bye bye.
Bye bye.
Facebook, bye bye.
Oh, I'm sorry, whoever just joined. There's a Kana. Sorry, Kana. But
Kana Latte.
Kana Latte.
Hi, Kana. Kana, we're just finishing, but and hi, Yo IWK. Yoko.
I don't know.
It's hard. Instagram's hard because
it's hard. It's hard.
My name's just Matt the teacher.
Yeah. Easier, right?
It's easier.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye. Hi, Kana. So.
Of course, that's how. Oh, okay. Maybe they're all saying goodbye.
If you have any questions or if you want to watch the video, Instagram you got 24 hours. Facebook you have forever. And then we are going to be moving all of these videos to our blog at some point,
website,
and we will once I get on that.
If you're watching this on the website, again, there's a comment section below the video, right? You can type there as well. We're here to serve, here to help, right?
That's our plan.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark.
Bye bye, and we're off.